Take a seat. Welcome to Hope Week. We're excited you're here. It's going to be a really fun week, and we've got a really fun assembly planned for you. So I guess we're ready to get started.
There are times when you might feel aimless and can't see the places where you belong.
But you will find that there is a purpose. It's been there within you all along.
And when you're near it, you can almost hear it.
It's like a symphony. Just keep listening and refuse the stars. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies. Oh, it's glorious. You will know how to let it ring out as you discover who you are. As around you start to wake up to the sound that is in their heart.
So amazing what we're all creating.
Just keep listening and refuse the stars. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies. Oh, it's glorious, glorious. And as you feel the chords build up, you will see. It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies. Oh, it's glorious.
Okay, hi, hello guys. My name is Munashi Tanjani, and I am the school's and Utah's representative on the National Hope Squad Council. And I just wanted to introduce you guys to the Hope Week Assembly and to Hope Week itself. I'm gonna move to that mic now. I did it. I just wanted to introduce, I'm gonna sing a song. It's called I Lost a Friend by Phineas, and it's just about sometimes the people who get left behind and the validity in your feelings, and that it's okay to feel the way that you do, no matter what's going on. I lost a friend, like keys in a sofa, like a wallet in the backseat, like ice in the summer heat. I lost a friend, like sleep on a red eye, like money on a bad bed, like time worrying about every bad thing that hasn't happened. I know I'll be alright, but I'm not tonight. I'll be lying awake, counting all the mistakes I've made, replaying fights. I know I'll be alright, I'm wearing a neck brace, like I'm sleeping at my own place, like I'm pulling all the stitches out of my own face. I'm on the mend, like I'm ice in a news rain, like I'm walking on a new cane, like it's been a couple days since I slipped and said something sorta like your name. I know I'll be alright, but I'm not tonight. I'll be lying awake, counting all the mistakes I've made, replaying fights. I know I'll be alright, but I'm not tonight. I'm on the mend, but I lost a friend, I lost my mind. Nobody believes me, say I know that he don't need me. And I'll be fine without him, but all I do is write about him. How the hell did I lose a friend I never had? And I'd apologize if I thought it might make a difference, or make you listen. And I'd apologize if it was black and white, but life is different. Just try to listen to me. I know it'll be alright, but I'm not tonight. I lost a friend, I lost a friend, I lost my mind. And I'll be fine without him, but all I do is write about him. How the hell did I lose a friend I never had? I never had.
Thank you. Now I'm going to get slightly more vulnerable with like a quarter of my entire high school and tell you, before I introduce the Hope Squad, about something that I've gone through that I think a lot of people here have had similar experiences. So my parents are from South Africa. I'm from South Africa, and as immigrants and as a lot of parents, they don't necessarily understand mental health or mental illness. And so sometimes I feel like they're not the people to come to when I need help, and I'm sure a lot of you have felt that way. But recently, I had a situation in which I really needed help, and I really needed someone to talk to. So I called my friend's dad, who's a therapist, and someone who I knew I could trust, and I asked him for help, and I asked him help me talk to my parents, because I felt like he could say the things that I couldn't say. And it actually really worked out. And it took a lot of bravery, and it took a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of bravery and courage to ask for help. But our Hope Squad, our members, I don't know how you see them, but I hope that as I introduce them, you see them as people who you can come to for help. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your parents or to your counselors, they can be your first outlet, because they just want to hear you and they just want to help you. And I encourage you to take that step and ask yourself if you're okay, and if you're not, hopefully they can help you find help. So here are the 2022-2023 Hope Squad members.
Hello, my name is Miss Pam Gardner, and I am the new Hope Squad teacher.
Hi, I'm Alex Knorr. I'm a senior and I'm the president.
I'm Ashley McVeigh. I'm a senior and I'm the vice president.
I'm Shrita Sureshkumar, and I've been on Hope Squad for 2 years, and I'm the Hope Squad Public Relations Officer.
Hi, I'm Isaac Young, and I am the Hope Squad historian, freshman.
Hi, my name is Isabel Wynn, and I am in grade 9, and I've been in Hope Squad. I joined Hope Squad this year.
I'm a freshman, and this is my first year in Hope Squad.
Hi, I'm Isabel Scriver. I am a freshman, and this is my first year in Hope Squad.
I'm Zach Ortiz. I'm a freshman, and this is my first year in Hope Squad.
I'm a freshman, and this is my first year in Hope Squad.
My name is Soda Cervantes. I'm a freshman, and this is my first year as well.
Guys, I'm Max Aird, the one behind all the edited videos for Hope Squad this year. I'm a senior, and this is my only year on Hope Squad.
Hi, my name is Ashley Wilson. I'm a senior, and this is my first year of Hope Squad.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm a sophomore, and this is my first year on Hope Squad.
Hi, I'm Kiki. I'm a junior, and this is my first year of Hope Squad.
I am David Mariam. This is my first year of Hope Squad, and I'm a junior.
So these are your Hope Squad members. Please know their names and faces and know you can come to them for help. Okay, thank you guys. This year's Hope Week theme is Be Glorious, and we invited speaker and entertainer Ryan Stream to perform and speak to you guys today. Ryan became an award-winning musician, speaker, author, veteran, and nonprofit founder. After a challenging childhood, failing out of 4 colleges, losing his job, struggling with mental health and PTSD, Ryan knew he needed to make a change. He learned how to be resilient and is now taking complete ownership of his life and writing his life story. Ryan is living proof that struggling builds strength. His powerful story and music motivate students and educators of all backgrounds to aim high, believe in themselves, and accomplish their dreams. After graduating from Utah Valley University, Ryan has made it his mission to help others reach their greatest potential. We all have the ability to conquer our own Coliseum. Welcome, Ryan Stream.
Here we go. Alright, here we go, Hillcrest! Is everybody ready? First time I got 1,000 views, I daydreamed to Hollywood and all the interviews. I gave it my all, I called my mom. Mom, did you listen to my song? Turn your radio on. Because one day, someday, the rest of the world will sing along. I went from homeless boy, drug-eating hero. 1,000 views, then I added a few more zeros. A million views starts with 1, and she hung up the phone. She said, son, here we go, Hillcrest. Here we go. Wait and see. I've been dreaming. She's been dreaming. Someday, I'm gonna make it. You're gonna make it. I believe you can do anything that you want to. Now I was blessed with 2 sets of parents. One who brought me into the world and one who raised me. I was adopted as a young boy, and it was the stream name that saved me. My biological mother, she's gone. Depression stole her away. Her birthday is Valentine's Day. Every year that it passes, I remember all of the roses on her casket. I love you, Mom. I miss you. I never told you and Dad that I forgive you, but I do for everything that we went through. So when I die, will you teach me how to fly? When I take a knee, I hear my mother singing from the sky. She said, son, here we go. Come on in the back, let's go. mom traveled. 11 kids, 4 adopted, and then you opted to keep us together forever. I was excited about 1,000 views. Now I'm excited to show thousands of people what you and mom do. Here we go. Come on, here we go. Please see the dreams we've been dreaming. I've been dreaming. She's been dreaming. Someday I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I believe in every single one of you. Come on, one last time. Here we go.
Everybody who has believed in me.
Up in the top.
Rasmussen, Meeks, Van Ryan, my crew, Gomez, my wife, Keith Leonard, Miss Hanneman, military, my family, all my friends from Delta, Payson, and every county, Dixon, Olympia, Serve Daily, the Martinez family, Police Tuttle. Thank you for believing in me. You can do anything that you want to. RJ Chance, Wilson, just believe in yourself. All the kids who are in foster care, who've been homeless and adopted, to all the families who open up their home and allow these children to live. I believe. Thank you for believing in them. Thank you for adopting me.
Surgery today, and I haven't practiced the piano in months. But because this is about being resilient, some things there are moments in your life where things just won't go your way. You'll cut your finger off. That's what happened to me. And I had it sewn back on, and now I gotta have a second surgery today at 12 o'clock. But I wanted to get up and still play. You know what I was saying? Everybody do this, right? And some of you I was looking at, you're like, I'm not doing this. This guy's crazy. Why? He's rapping at my school. During your life, you're gonna feel silly. When I first started singing and rapping and doing country music, and I would tell people, come on, put your hands like this, and it was only my mom and dad. It was embarrassing. But then I realized not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna listen to your music. Not everybody's gonna wanna clap their hands when you think you do something amazing. But if you keep on doing what you love, great things will happen. When I told people that I wanted to be a motivational speaker and a musician, when I told them that I wanted to sign a music contract, be like David Archuleta, Alex Boyer, and all these cool people that are from this area. When I told people that I wanted to be on the radios and MTV and all of these wonderful things, what do you think they did? Oh, they laughed. You will always have people laugh at you. But I've been on the Wolf Country radio station. I've been on MTV. I'll be on A&E. I am a #1 Amazon bestseller, and I failed English class. Do not ever let people tell you that you cannot do something. In 2019, thank you. In 2019, I won the Verizon Wireless Salute Award for the United States of America. Thank you so much. Next slide. You know, before I wanted to be a motivational speaker and a musician, I wanted to be a professional athlete, and I wanted to play in the NBA. Could you please stand up? Yeah, you handsome fella right there. Stand on up. Come on, stand up. All right, give him a round of applause. Now, as you can see, he's way taller than I am, right? Thank you, sit down. Now, he's all getting on his tippy toes. I saw you. As you can see, I'm not very big. I'm not very tall at all. Do you think people made fun of me because I was small? Yes. Do you think I have insecurities? Yes. Even today, I had to shave my face for a picture, and usually I have a beard like you, and it looks good, just like that. But I had to shave it, and I think I look funny. So I'm sitting here saying, please grow a beard before I have to perform. And it didn't happen, but I'm still up here. I'm still up here singing. I'm still up here doing what I'm doing, even though sometimes I get insecure. My parents knew that I wanted to play in the NBA, so every day my parents had me go outside and shoot 200 shots. Little did I know my parents were trying to teach me how to count. Because when I was young, I was that kid that had to come to school early to learn how to read and how to write. Homeless shelter, foster care, my mother beat so many times in front of us. That was my story. And I didn't know how to learn how to read. I have trouble. People make fun of me because I don't know Spanish. And I barely know English. I'm always spelling words wrong, and people are always the online ninjas. Y'all know those? You spelled there wrong. I get it all the time. But my parents were out there teaching me how to count. But I was also shooting, dribbling the ball right-handed, left-handed, dribbling around the block so many times, and I, after years of practice, was able to play, drum roll please, I was able to play for the Jazz. I was able to play for the Junior Jazz. I didn't make it there. We got some Junior Jazz fans up there. I didn't make it very far. I did not make it very far at all, but I learned throughout my life, sometimes people are going to tell you no. Sometimes when I was learning how to play the piano, right, I saw a picture of John Smith. I was 12 years old when I wrote my first song, and I saw him play the piano backwards, and I thought one day I'm going to do that. So I started to travel all over the place, playing the piano like John does. And then I was like, I'm going to top him. I'm going to play blindfolded. And I'm going to keep on playing with my left hand and flip around. And I got told no, I wasn't good enough. Once again, there will be people that will always tell you you're not good enough. But there's going to be somebody that believes in you. And that is you. And if you're lucky enough, somebody like my wife. This right here on the next slide, this is Mrs. String. Yeah? Thank you. That's enough. That's enough, man. This is my wife, Elizabeth. 5 years ago, I about lost my family. I didn't understand what it was to be resilient. I exited the military because of my mental health. After 2 tours to Afghanistan and 13 years in the military, I had one of the colonels on the military base say, Sergeant Stream, it's time that you take care of your own family. I was making bad choices, going back to the substances, the drinking, and doing the things that I shouldn't be doing. And I got fired from my job. 5 years ago, I was living in a duplex with my wife and 2 children. I decided when my back was against the wall and I was crying, telling my wife, I'm sorry, I'm a failure. There's only one thing I could do. Be resilient. There's only one thing you can do. If you fall down, you can stay down. Or you can choose to stand back up, and I chose to stand back up. Now we have multiple businesses, multiple real estate buildings, 7 incomes. My friends, that was 5 years ago. You are the author of your own story. And if you choose to stand up and be resilient, your life will go just as you plan, and that is amazing. Next slide. We have 2 beautiful, dazzling daughters. This is my girl, Nixon. Nixon was 8 months old the first time I met her. I got home from Afghanistan, and I've never seen my little girl. So when I got home from Afghanistan, I would try to hold her, and she didn't want me to come to her. She was afraid of me. Next slide. This is my little girl, Olympia. You know, every time I would put on my military uniform and I would exit the house and I would be going to do my military duties, my little girls, they would grab their little purses and they would run down the road and they'd say, Dad, please don't go. Please don't leave us, Dad. Are the bad guys going to kill you? Sad and cute at the same time. The truth is, everybody that I went to war with, they did not get to come home to their little girls and to their little boys. So I wrote a song and I played it on the piano. I wasn't planning on playing the piano today, so I'm not going to do that song. But I decided to write a country song because my wife was right. I was making bad choices and I was not treating her good. So I decided I was going to treat her to the perfect date night. Next slide. Where's my country fans at? This was on the Wolf Country radio station. I hope you like it. Turn that volume up a little. Baby, I know it's late. I know you've got a lot on your plate. How about we go for a drive? We can count the miles or talk about where our time goes. When the radio turns on, I love it when you sing. Not those dancing we sing. Because you know I'll stop the car and spin you around. Watch our shadows hit the ground. said,
Mom, I want to marry a man like Dad. I know he makes you mad. I see
Here we
him
go.
getting sad. Mom, he's a pretty good guy.
When I heard the words, I fell to my knees. I thank the Lord, the most heavenly. I said, Lord, I am thankful for all that you give me, my family, my kids, and my wife. When I'm done praying, I'll walk in and say, I'm thankful for a date night. Next slide. How was that for a date night? You know, I always start all of my concerts, and my first concert ever that I got paid for, I opened up for Alex Boyer, so that was pretty cool. It was about 5-6 years ago. You know, I always talk about my family. Why? Because when I was young, I didn't have a family, probably like some of the students here. You never know what people are going through. That's why you never say anything bad to somebody else. You know, everybody says, well, why did you end up in a homeless shelter? Why were you in foster care? Why is your family white and you are brown? You know, my mom in a very respectful way, she was abused twice by the age of 12. I'm saying that in a very edited way. There was an old man that took advantage of my mother twice. 2 separate men. Both of my mother's parents died by the age of 12 years old. My mom didn't have somebody to drop her off to school. When my mom got her first job, do you think my mom had anybody right there saying, Shirley, you're going to do great? My mom didn't have that. My mom was beat so many times by my father, one time even into a coma. When I was little, my dad would grab my mother and take her out to the road and beat her in front of everybody. My dad was not kind. My dad was a bully. As I get older and I study bullies and why people treat people a certain way, I have learned in all of my studies that bullying, the person bullying, is insecure. The person that is bullying has been bullied. There's trouble going on inside of their home, and they're learning those things that they are doing to other people, from their family members, from their siblings, and for those who they hang out with. After my dad beat my mother into a coma, my mom, like hopefully every woman in the world, grabbed us boys, put us in the vehicle, and she started to drive. And she started to drive to Colorado. And when we got to Colorado, my mom, she did not have much. I was poor. We lived in a little teeny house and got government assistance. My mom, I remember she got taken away by the cops one time. And I was a ninja. Even though I was little, I told everybody I'm a Ninja Turtle. I told everybody that. They said, you're a Ninja Turtle. I got bullied my whole life. But I decided I was going to break my mom out of jail. I was so sick of seeing my mother and my father get taken away. So I knew where the jail was. I escaped from the babysitter's house, and I ran down to the jail where it had squares, just like that's up here. And I started to scream. I started to yell, Mom! Mom! Mom, I'm here to break out! Obviously, I didn't know enough karate, because my mom stayed in jail. But when my mom saw me, my mom started to cry. Do you think if my mother could rewind time, she would make different choices? Maybe hang out with different people? Maybe marry somebody that would treat her with respect? Absolutely. But in that moment, when my mother was crying at me, I was just a little boy, so I didn't really understand what it was. But now that I'm older, and I have 2 kids, and if I got in trouble and my little girl said, Dad, I'm an ninja, I'm going to break you out, I would cry too. The choices and the decisions that you make right now, the choices and the decisions that you make the rest of your life, look, I served 13 years in the military, I went to war twice, I'm one of those that says I fight for freedom, I'm one of those. But the only true freedom we have is the freedom to choose. And the choices and the decisions that you make, they will follow you the rest of your life, so make good choices. My mom could not get back on her feet. My dad came and picked us up, and I did not want to go with my dad. My dad was mean. He put us in the back of a truck, not the seats, because we didn't have a vehicle, in the back of a truck. And we drove from the back of the truck all the way from Colorado to Provo, Utah, and when we got to Provo, Utah, we had nowhere to live. I remember when I was a little boy, my dad would be on substances, and my shoes would come off. And I would yell for my dad. I'd say, Dad, please help me put my shoes on. And they just poured the asphalt recently, and it was hot.
And I remember I was trying to catch up to my dad and stepping all over the hot road. My dad would not help me put my shoes on because of the choices he was making. We didn't have a vehicle to go to, so my dad, he got a car. I remember taking naps under the bridges as a child. Not because of my choices, but because of the choices that my parents made. My dad, he got a vehicle, and I remember getting inside of the vehicle and driving it to the park. And I remember we were in the back seat. I was in the back seat, and I was kicking my dad's chair. I was brave, but I was still scared. I was saying, Dad, please, I don't want to live here. I don't want to sleep here, excuse me. Because there was a homeless guy sleeping on the other side of the sidewalk from us. My dad, he had family members in Provo, Utah. And they said, come and live with us. You can come to my house and live with us. But in that house, there was already like 3 families. And the house was not a nice house. So we went out to the backyard, to the garage, to sleep inside of the garage for the wintertime. But there was already somebody sleeping in the garage. So there was only one place for me and my shivering cold brothers to go. In the shack behind the garage for the winter. I know what it's like in Utah when it's cold. It's cold, right? Well, it's cold when you don't have the heat to heat your body and you just got little space heaters and blankets. My dad got arrested. After he got arrested, we loaded up in the car, drove through Spanish Fork Canyon until we found somewhere to live. A homeless shelter. I remember early in the morning, I would wake up. My brothers, I was the youngest, so my brothers, they would bully me. They would make me go first. You go first. And they'd make me go first. And we would make our way down the stairs. And we would look in the kitchen, and when nobody was in the kitchen, I'd wave to my brothers and say, we're good, we're good. And then we would steal food from the kitchen because we would be so hungry. During the day, you can't stay at a homeless shelter. You can't stay there. It's not your house. So during the day, my brothers and I, we walked all over the city. Excuse me, can I have any food? Excuse me, could you have any food that you could give me? Finally, I got one of the best 3 gifts I've ever been given. It was a box of raisins. There was 2 old men sitting in front of a bowling alley. And this old man, he had a box of raisins, and my stomach screamed out, I'm hungry. So I walked up to this man and I said, excuse me, can I have some of your raisins? And the old man, he grabbed that box of raisins, and his old fingers were going like this. He opened up the box, and I thought he was going to take a couple of raisins out. But instead, he opened up the lid, and he gave it to my brothers and I. When I was young, I realized doing something so small, making somebody feel so good, could just be enough to help them change their life. Because of that man, the feeling that he gave me, I told myself, one day I'm going to give people boxes of raisins. We got a little apartment. My dad got a job, so we moved to Huntington, Utah. When we got to Huntington, Utah, there was this man, he knocked on the door. We're in Utah, and the other 2, they had white shirts and ties on. And they saw that our hair was messy. We didn't know how to read. We didn't know how to write. We were washing our clothes in the bathtub. And this man that saw us, it broke his heart. And he said, Mike, my dad, bring your children over to my house. My wife is a teacher. She will teach your kids how to read and how to write. And then a couple days later, that guy and those men dressed in white came back with a brand new washer and dryer. And then Christmas time came, and those black garbage bags full of toys. I got toys for Christmas. It was awesome. But one time, my dad loaded us up in the car, and I think we were going back to the homeless shelter to eat. We were going to visit family. I can't remember. All I remember is my dad started to go crazy. My dad started to punch the windows until the windows of the vehicle broke. And he started to yell, there are devils inside of our vehicle. As you can imagine, me and my brothers were in the back seat screaming and crying, so our dad's like going crazy. Red and blue lights soon began to chase our vehicle, and you could already guess the rest of the story. The police officer grabbed my dad, took him out of the vehicle, proceeded to go back to his car. Once again, I was a ninja. There's a reason why I keep saying I'm a ninja, and I'm going to get to that. But I jumped out of the vehicle and I tried to protect my dad from those police officers. Let me tell you something. Those police officers are tough. And I know there's a police officer that goes here. The reason why he is here is just in case anything bad happens, he can help you. You know, years ago when I got back from Afghanistan, it was, oh, forget the police, who's white, who's black, who's brown, who has purple in their hair. It was crazy. So I decided right then and there, I'm going to write music. Again, I'm going to pick back up the pen and I'm going to write music. And thousands of people are going to hear it. This year alone, over 9 million people have read my name. And many people across the world are listening to my music and reading my story. Why? Because I decided I was going to be resilient. I decided I was going to keep on moving forward, even though the police officer just took my dad away. And then we started the foster care system. I've been to war twice, and that's a scary feeling when you're flying over the mountains of Afghanistan. But you know what else is scary? Being alone. You know, it's so fun to perform in front of all of you amazing people like this. It's so wonderful to do concerts, to sign autographs, to take pictures, to go on university tours, to get put in the nice hotels. That's fun. But because of the childhood that I lived, you know one thing that I struggle with? Is being alone. So whenever I'm on the road and I'm by myself, I actually get kind of sad and depressed. But then I have to remind myself I have to be resilient. I have to put my feet on the ground and keep on moving forward. Next slide. That man that came over with the washer and dryer, that man that gave me that black garbage bag for Christmas adopted my whole family. They already had 7 kids of their own and 38 students going through their house a day because my mother was a teacher. I love teachers, and that lady taught me how to write my autograph before I even could sign it. This is the Stream family. Next slide. You know, when I was in high school, look at that guy. Man, 17 right there. I thought I knew everything. You know, I got cut from the basketball team, so I decided I wanted to be in the military. I wanted to be in the special forces. I wanted to do something amazing. So I went to the military. I graduated with honors. I was in the National Guard, so I got to come back home. I started working in the coal mine, going to school. To make the story very short, I was making about $80,000 at 18 years old, about 12 years ago. And my mom and dad tried to tell me what to do. What? I remember the guy that adopted me. We got in an argument, and I told him, he was a police officer at the time, getting ready to be a judge. And I looked at him in the face and I said, why are you telling me what to do? I make more money than you. Unbelievable. Sometimes, one day, you're going to have your own children, or little brothers, or somebody that's going to be younger than you. You're going to try to give them advice, even if you don't know everything. Next slide. I thought I knew everything. My parents, my dad, he was just trying to help me. My principals, my teachers, and my leaders, and my older siblings were just trying to help me. What is your principal's name? Everybody on the count of 3. Principal Lovett. You don't know everything. 1, 2, 3. Where's Principal Lovett? All right, let's find us another teacher. Are you a teacher? Mr. Lovett, come on down here. Everybody give him a round of applause. He heard that, so he came right in, didn't he? All right, I don't know if you heard that, but I told everybody in here that you don't know everything.
I don't know anything or everything.
Let's ask you. Mr. Lovett, do you know everything? That's usually when they're kids and the crowd's like, no, you don't, Dad.
No, I don't know everything.
He doesn't know everything. And this guy, he's a big guy. Imagine if I talk crap to him.
I'm a wimp.
But were there moments in your life where you've been bullied?
Yes.
Were there moments in your life where you put your hands on your face and say, I can't do it?
No.
You were able to accomplish everything.
No, I just said I couldn't do it. I just put my hands on my face.
Love it. Everybody give it up for your principal. The point I was trying to make is your principal doesn't know everything. It's the truth. Your parents don't know everything. The people dressed very nice in a suit and tie right here don't know everything. But how old are you? 17. What? Don't you think that gentleman right there was 17 years old before? Don't you think your principal was 17 years old? Absolutely. My friends, when your principals, your teachers, and your leaders are helping you, they're helping you be resilient. They're helping you with the answers because they have been 17 years old at one time. And I did not comprehend that when I was a child. Next slide. I was $30,000 in debt by the age of 19 years old. I went from homecoming king to a drug addict because I hung around the wrong crowd. I was $30,000 in debt, failed out of college, had to pay all of that money back. I was sued, and I was breaking into apartments to sleep during the wintertime. And my mom was a teacher, and my dad was a judge at this time. And they tried to help me. There was a unit going to Afghanistan, and I said, please let me go with you. And after quite the battle, I was able to go. I didn't realize that I would be on a quest the rest of my life to conquer the PTSD, the headaches, the anxiety, the anger. Around 23 of the 32 soldiers I was with was blown up with an IED. Not all of them made it home in my unit. You know, I remember going outside and crying. Are you kidding me? My hands were in my face. Are you kidding me? I'm here trying to better my life. And this is terrible. War is hard. And my sister, she sent me a story. And some people may think this is a corny story, but I love this story. When I was dating my wife, I typed this up and I gave it to her, and 13 years later, 10 years later, it hangs in my little girl's room. There was an old man, he would like to go riding. Every single morning he was a poet. He went down to the shoreline. One morning he realized there was a little boy that was on the shore. And he called out to the little boy, he said, little boy, what are you doing? And the little boy said, the tide is just right. I'm grabbing starfish and I'm throwing them into the water. The waves will grab the starfish, pull them back in, and they will live. The old man looked at that little boy and said, you will never make a difference. There are hundreds of thousands of starfish, and there are hundreds of miles of shore. But that little boy leaned over and grabbed one. With confidence, he looked at that old man, threw it into the water, and said, I made a difference to that one. Next slide. When I was in Afghanistan, I realized that I wasn't going to be in the special forces, right? I got addicted to drugs. I never even made it to the tryouts. But I decided every single person that I come in contact with, I can make them smile. I can make them happy. Next slide. My parents would send gifts to the kids, and I would get boxes of gifts, and I would stand on top of the RG, and I would beatbox, and I would rap to these kids. I would tell them I was Chris Brown. No, they believed me. No, it's because they didn't even speak the language. But it was so wonderful to see these kids happy. Although I couldn't change hundreds of thousands of lives, I was able to make one starfish smile, right? The Taliban started to use the children. They started to strap bombs to the children in our area. And when we would get out to play with the children, or when we would open up the door, you can imagine what the Taliban would do. You are no longer allowed to get out of the vehicle, Stream. And then they call me misfit. Whenever I was depressed or sad, I'd go into the RG and I'd start rapping. You think people made fun of me for that? Yeah. You know what the amazing thing is now? All of their children have heard my music. Life is amazing. We were overlooking an area, and I was no longer allowed to get out of the vehicle, and I was the only vehicle in the area. And there was a little boy and a little girl that came up to our vehicle, and they wanted food and candy. They wanted anything that we could give them. But I followed my orders, no getting out of the vehicle. But my sergeant said, Stream, that's not like you. Open up the door and throw out a piece of candy. So I obeyed. I opened up the door and I threw out a piece of candy. There was nobody else around besides a little boy and a little girl. And the little boy outran his little sister, grabbed that piece of candy. Over there I've witnessed little girls grab a piece of candy first. And everybody in the village would beat that little girl. Because in other countries around the world, not here. Because there are people in uniform, there are teachers, there's principals, there's military members that wouldn't let that happen. But there are places around the world where that does happen. Women are treated less than an animal. That's what we were instructed when we were there. But that little boy grabbed that piece of candy. He turned and he gave it to his little sister. We have never seen anything like that. So we jumped out of the vehicle and we gave him as much food and candy as his little man dress could carry. There was nothing else around us. So the little boy must have ran 2 hours to wherever he lived with his little sister. But then he came back. And this time he had something behind his back. And the little boy started to get close to our vehicle. And we started to yell at him to stop. Stop! Stop! I started to honk the horn, and the kid kept coming. He was determined. And so there's a pin flare. It's a line of defense that we use that doesn't hurt anybody. But the gunner shot it over the little boy's head to scare him. And the little boy, he got scared. But the little boy kept coming. So I turned on the camera to have proof, if we took this little boy's life, that it was for a reason. The little boy kept coming, so the gunner put the weapon on the child. And at this point, I was screaming, I was honking, I was praying. And then the little boy stopped. And the little boy showed us what was behind his back. It was an egg. Next slide. An egg? Like a chicken egg. The little boy ran all the way home. He gave us the best gift. The second best gift. It's actually the third. I skipped the second. Best gift that I've ever been given. You know what I learned from that little boy? No matter where you were at in your life, there is good wherever there is bad. And there is bad wherever there is good. You have to be the good. That little boy taught me resilience. No matter what, he was going to succeed. No matter what, he was going to make sure whatever it is he had, he was going to give us. He was determined. That little boy changed my paradigm that day. And he taught me no matter where you're at, you can be the good. The second best gift I got when I got adopted, I skipped it. It was a pair of light-up shoes. I remember when I got adopted, I was in the 2nd grade. And there was actually a motivational speaker that came and he spoke to my school, and it was full. It was awesome. And I was in the back. He couldn't even see me. But I saw him. And I remember earlier that week, I scrubbed my skin crying in the bathtub because I wanted to be white, just like my family. But that man, he stood on top of the stage and he said, "You can do it. You can be whatever you want in this world." And I'm back there saying, "I can, I will. I can do it too." The truth is, my friends, you don't have to sing the best. You don't have to speak the best. And not everybody is going to like you no matter how amazing you are. You always just have to believe in yourself. Pick yourself back up and keep fighting. Next slide. I had a music video with a kid with no arms and no legs. He shows us what resilience is. But today I'm going to do a rap song. You guys want to know the rap song? And then we'll be done. Turn the volume up, please. Turn that up. Culture. I'm feeling so amazing with you by my side. I think that every day is a blessing in disguise. Remember when our little kid started walking, and now the youngest little one, she is talking. I'm running my fingers through her hair, singing to her. These will be the moments that will never ever be forgotten. But now we're looking at the pictures in the frame that's on the wall. Marks on the side of the door that tell us how tall. It's time to take them to a different destination and introduce them to the last 4 generations. I'm feeling so amazing with you all by my side. I think that every day is a blessing in disguise. It's time to travel the globe. It's time to show. Here we go. Where we come from. She's in North and South America and over to Italy, Africa and America, Europe and all of Asia. Different colors, different races, languages and places, different stages, continents full of smiles on all their faces. I never thought that I would make it this far, but I had angels on my shoulders singing, "I will be a star." The advice that I can give to my future family is be like the dancing mom, Tia from Calamity. I never looked for enemies, but then I fought some enemies. I went to war twice, now I look for peace. Let kindness beat all of the wickedness and set aside our differences and be the generations. History witnesses. I'm feeling so amazing with you all by my side. I think that every day is a blessing in disguise. It's time to travel the globe. It's time to show where we all come from. I want everybody to put their hands together. It doesn't matter what religion, what race, what sexual orientation you are. We are united together right here, right now. Put them together. Come on, here we go.
Where do you come from? Everybody, thank you so much for having me. In closing, I would like to say this. Not everybody in here liked me. Not everybody in the world will like you. If you're waiting for people to always cheer for you and tell you that you can do it, you're going to be waiting a long time. Being resilient means overcoming. Just like a bouncy ball when it's thrown. No matter where it's thrown, when it's a hard surface, it will always bounce back. No matter if you've slept in a homeless shelter, your parents are addicts, it does not matter if you're going to bed hungry, or just like a little girl that I visited with that her parents dropped her off at a homeless shelter and then drove away with the rest of her family. My friends, no matter what happens in your life, you have the paper and you have the pen. You are the author of your story. Thank you so much, Hillcrest High School. Next slide, please. Next slide. You guys can check me out on social media. I would love it. Thank you, thank you.